have Derrick from the Twisted Barrel talking to us about why he started that business and how he got into that career. So welcome, Derrick. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. We really want these kids to understand what it's like to go into careers such as yours. So could you tell us what it is you do and how you got into it?
Sure. So about 5 years ago now, I had an idea to start a brewery and have a wood-fired pizza restaurant in it. I didn't have enough money to do all of it, so I decided to do a mobile wood-fired pizza business. I was a home brewer for 12 years, and adults know that pizza and beer are a great combination, but there's lots of things that you can do with pizza, and being mobile gives you lots of opportunities to be at other events and expose your products to a wider range of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hot button topic in Rochester at the time, so I figured I would get in ahead of the problems that they were going to encounter.
So you've been doing it about 5 years. What would you say would be the one skill or one educational path that led you down that road? What was it that steered you that direction?
Home ec classes.
Okay.
I loved cooking. I loved cooking from a very early age. And so it was just something that I always wanted to do, but didn't pursue it as far as an education goes.
Okay.
So I found another avenue to be creative with food.
So this wasn't your first job. You had done something prior to this.
I've had a lot of jobs over my years of being out of high school. So I've been in a lot of different fields.
Would you say you had education to steer you towards this business? Any business classes that you've had to take since starting or anything like that?
Yep. So actually I went back to college at 31 years old, and I pursued my bachelor's degree in business management. And from there, my capstone project for my degree was my brew pub business plan. So basically, I modified it and used it to and applied it to the starting of the mobile business.
Okay. So not only are you a cook, you're also the operation and business manager, correct?
When you're a small business owner, you're everything. You have to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about that, what that would look like for a business owner?
Sure. So, in the food truck realm, you're essentially running a mobile restaurant. So you need to have bookkeeping skills. You have to maintain inventory for ordering. So you kind of have to forecast how much you're going to do. In the beginning, it's difficult, but once you kind of have an idea of places that you set up and events that you do, you have an idea and an understanding of how much product you go through. So that way you constantly, you don't have waste then. You work through your ingredients, you don't waste, because waste is just throwing money away in the restaurant business. So, the ordering, HR, you're in charge of hiring, firing, disciplinary action, all those decisions too, if you choose to have employees. Some operations can handle it without having more than one or two people, but some need more. Let's see, you have to take care of all your accounting. Now being as far in as I am, I learned my lesson. Accountants are worth the money. So pay an accountant right away. It's hard in the beginning because you're strapped for cash, but once you get established, it's definitely, an accountant is definitely worth what you pay them. And then, yeah.
Staff that you hire.
What's that?
You have staff that you hire?
I used to.
Okay.
We changed. My journey has been a little bit of a different one. For the first 2 years, I only operated the truck part-time. On the weekends, year 3, I had a restaurant. Year 4, I had a different restaurant, higher volume. And now year 5, I no longer own a restaurant. I'm out of the restaurant game. I'm running the food truck 3 weekends a month. So priorities changed, mindset changed. I prioritize some things in life. So yeah.
Would there be anything else you could say about wanting to give up the restaurant part, as to, if someone watching this, why that would be, other than priorities?
Well, if you're not married, it's not a problem. You can do it. But if you're married, your spouse won't like you having a second spouse, and that's really what a restaurant is. It's a second spouse who requires even more attention than your living spouse. And it's a tough time to be in this industry too, with COVID and staffing issues and things like that. There's a lot of challenges.
Thank you. We like to know both the positives and the negatives about a business.
Yeah, there's definitely both.
What would you say the terms of advancement would be for a business such as yourselves? Do you feel there's much competition, or do you feel you're in a niche market?
Yeah, we're kind of in a niche market. Mobile wood-fired pizza, I can name 3 that I know of right now off the top of my head, including myself. So it's one of those things where really you can take it as far as you want to when you're an entrepreneur. The burnout rate's high. So, whatever plans you think you have, you need to do it as quick as possible, because you will get tired and you will get burned out. I'm a prime example of that. So it's but I mean, there's opportunity. You can always you can build something up, sell it off, and then build something again, or you could build something up, hope to get acquired, and then move up the ranks of someone that has acquired you, or you can keep doing what you're doing, and you don't have to constantly be growing and shooting for the pinnacle. Everybody's peak is a little bit different. So it's some people Everest might be the top, and some people Quarry Hill might be the top. So it's whatever your top is. Shoot for that.
What would you say to let's say it's a high school junior who's got a year left, kind of thinking about, I don't want to go to college, but maybe I want to do my own business. What techniques or skills would you suggest for them to research as they're starting down that journey?
Get a job in that field to see if you even like it. Find business owners or managers that are in that field to be a mentor. Sit down, have coffee, or sit down and get breakfast with these people and talk to them, and find out, most people wouldn't shy away from sitting down and meeting with someone. If you're coming in as competition, some people might be a little hesitant, but I've never not sat down with somebody that had an idea for a food truck. Even if they are coming into this market, there's plenty of room for more. So mentors, yeah. Sit down, find people in that field. If you can get a job in that field, get a job in that field, and see if it is really something that you want to pursue.
Okay. Could you take us through a day? I know you said you're doing 3 weekends a month. Give us, what does that average day look like from start to finish of what your daily operation would be to make that work? Sure.
So, for instance, I'll do a Saturday morning. Depending on what time our start time is, usually there's times where I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take out dough, to get dough proofing so we can have it ready to go when it's time. And then if it's an early morning like that, I'll go back to bed for a little bit and get a couple more hours of sleep. But then on Saturday mornings, I also like to run down to the farmer's market, check for basil. I do have farmers from the market that supply me basil, but sometimes I forget to call ahead. But I can check the market for anything that I need for the evening, or just for something unique to try with a pizza, or just in cooking in the oven in general, because there's a lot of things you can do with a wood fire oven. And then, so at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I usually come home and make sure that I have everything that I need as far as the ingredients. I'll check the trailer for all my ingredients for the evening, and I'll start prepping that, making pizza sauce, filling containers, making sure everything's clean. And then around that time, I'll usually start the fire. The oven takes 3 to 4 hours to preheat it gradually enough to where I can really fire hot and cook fast. And then it's double checking everything, making sure we have water in our tanks, making sure there's fuel for the generator, making sure there's enough wood under the oven to sustain the cooking times that we need. And then it's, hooking up the trailer, unplugging from our power source, making sure everything is strapped down, and then it's drive to wherever it is that we need to go for the event or for just selling pizza. And then arrival time is, I usually try to arrive about an hour before we're going to start serving. And then that's going back through everything, making sure vegetables are cut, meats are cut, making sure that the dough's good, so that way we can start pre-making pizzas if we need to for bigger events. I like to pre-make trays full of pizzas, so when they get ordered, we can just pull them off the tray and cook them. We don't have to make it first. Little things like that for efficiencies. And then when we're done serving pizza, it's clean up, strap everything back down, basically reverse of what we do before we got there. So load everything back up, unplug the generator, strap things down because things move around in a trailer, and then making sure the fire's covered, and then we take off. And then there's more when we get back, because you need to do dishes and clean up, take care of garbages, and make sure everything that needs to be refrigerated is refrigerated. So a typical Saturday for me, even though we only have like a 3 or 4 hour window of sales and service, it's about a 10 to 12 hour day for me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more that goes into it. There's a lot behind the curtain that people don't see.
Right. And that's really what we wanted to do, was let these kids see the whole gamut of what it would be to be an entrepreneur. So I appreciate your time in telling us today.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that being a mentor, getting into the job, letting kids experience it. So are you willing to be one of those persons if they were to reach out?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And in what fashion would you like them to reach out to you? Is it better email, phone? What would you prefer?
Email's the best. Because sometimes if I don't recognize a number, I get so many phone calls, I just don't answer. But yeah, email's the best, because then I can look it over and respond when I have a minute.
And if there's one final thought you'd want to give to high school students today, have you thought what that would be, or any advice you might give?
Yeah. Sometimes life puts up roadblocks. There's always another path, though. Just like with my story, there's always another path. The city threw up roadblocks at me. The banks threw up roadblocks at me. If you're passionate about something, you'll find a way to get it done. So don't let the first no wreck your plans, because I got told no for an entire year before I got told yes for the financing on my food truck. So you just have to be persistent. Make sure you have your facts and your numbers all in line. There's lots of awesome resources out there with SCORE and the SBCA. Rick Enderley out at the Heinz Center. He's the best numbers guy, and it's not even close. If you're even thinking about doing your own business, sit down with Rick. I mean, it's free. He's a fantastic resource, and he'll be your biggest cheerleader once you get going. He's the biggest devil's advocate in the beginning, but he's your biggest cheerleader once you're up and running. It's great. But yeah, there's lots of free resources. So I think that's something that doesn't always find its way to the right people, but there's lots of resources out there. Search them out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Derrick, for taking the time today, and we wish you a lot of good luck in your wood-fired pizzas.
Thank you.